Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by my video on this beautiful Tuesday morning. I wanted to share with you my work in progress page from the Teresa Goodridge Country Garden, Country Garden. The other one is Country Kitchen Charm. But yes, this is one of the pages from the Country Garden coloring book by Teresa Goodridge. And it is the Creative Haven paper that's really, really notoriously thin. And I thought would be very hard to work with. But here we are, or here I am, using traditional watercolor techniques with no pencils, no watercolor pencils, just my brush and my paint. I thought I would go ahead and share with you a demonstration of that on a new page. And I love this page. It's so pretty. It's just, I don't know, it makes me happy. And there's a cat, and I'm a cat lady. I don't even have cats, but I am a cat lady. I'm just working with my son right now with his phobia of animals, and hopefully we will be able to add 2 cats to our family. All right, so what I'm doing here is I am mixing up the color I'm going to begin to work with. And it's very transparent, you know, very more water than anything else. I'm using the color by Kim LeBeau. KL colors. These are handmade watercolors. This color is called Take It or Leave It. And I'm also adding a bit of White Nights number 219. And I think that color is Aureolin. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that one, but that's what I got for you. Now keep in mind, you know, during the process, yes, there will be warping and buckling, just like I mentioned, you know, this right here. This happens, it's bound to happen, it's okay. You know, this is the end result. This is what we're going for, and let's just go ahead and begin. I'm using a silver black velvet brush from Silver Brush Limited. Being that this all will be green here, I'm just going to begin to add the color really loosely and not worry about all these spaces in between, because this will all be green. I'm a big fan of adding what you would call an underlayer, or just that primary layer of paint on my work. Let me go ahead and make sure you guys are auto locked there for the focus so it doesn't come out of focus. Now, under here, there is that pillow, but don't worry, I'll get you through that as well. All right, so all this down here will be, will be green. This right here needs to be a bit more careful, or I need to be a bit more careful. But I'm going to be using some complementary colors. So if I am a bit more loosey-goosey here, if you will, I'll be okay with it. And if you notice, I used the masking tape all the way up to the edge here to try to preserve that nice white border. Hands are a little shaky. Again, if I get some color outside the lines, or if I color outside the lines, I am okay with it right now. You'll see how all this will fall back once I begin to add more color. I love these brushes too because they hold on to a good amount of water and pigment. So I get a consistent flow of both. Again, if I color outside the line, I'm okay. Being a little careful around here. So all this is just going to get all greened up. All of it. I'm going to go ahead and add a bit more water to my yellow choice here. Brighten things up just a bit. I can always go darker. I cannot go lighter. Be a little careful with our sweet birdie there. And this area here in the middle will be naturally lighter. I'm not the best with lighting or color, light source. Again, if I tap in a bit of green into the flowers, I'm okay with that too. Just very laid back about the process. This is the first layer, so I still have a lot of work ahead of me. All right, so I'm ending things off with a very light touch over here, just so I can pick up where I left off on the opposite side, because I am eager to show you how I begin working on this area right here. You can use a heating tool to speed up the drying process. In this case, at least for me, I prefer to let things naturally dry. And honestly, it's been so warm lately that everything dries a lot quicker. Okay, and any unevenness, any patchiness that you see, it will all be remedied as I continue to work on the page. So don't let any of that discourage you from using watercolors. All right, so let's go ahead and choose a color for these chairs. And I'm thinking, because I do love, I do love me a good purple mix, especially if the purple is a bit granulating. So I got this really soft purple right here. It's from Renaissance Polska. And I apologize, I do not know the name of it because it is just a little bit of paint left in the half pan. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and begin to color in the background of the chair. If you notice, I'm being very generous with the amount of color I'm laying down. And for me, it's important to be able to move my page around, even if I'm working on, a larger book, large area. I need to be able to move my page around. And I let those colors stay just like that because that's going to provide the depth and just darker value that I need to make this pop. And this is also the first layer. This chair will get at least 2 to 3 more layers of paint. And you can see the benefits of having your page taped down. I know that isn't always possible with other coloring books like the Camilla de Erico book I have and the Johanna Basford. There is no way I'll be tearing any pages out of those books ever. But these books here, they're a bit more friendly to that option. So just kind of lining up the top here. And the areas here that you see back here tucked in between the leaves, you want there to be a bit more color there, or I want there to be a bit more color there because that's naturally a darker area. See how everything is drying nicely, and I'm getting just natural, you know, color buildup in some areas. That's what I like. I know everyone's different. You might like something a bit more darker, a bit more, you know, flatter, if you will, just one color across the whole page, but I prefer this. I'm a big believer, excuse me. Ooh, I can't even talk. I get so nervous. I'm a big believer in what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for me. Huge believer, and I very much respect that. Just letting you guys know. So as I mentioned, this area back here, looks like I got a bit of color. This is actually a perfect opportunity to show you how I can clean it up too. So let me go ahead and get my number 4 Princeton Neptune brush, my cleanup brush. And let me just move this color out of here. Again, this color here is going to be the darkest. On traditional watercolor paper, I usually use Arches or the Beohong Academy. I would also tape things down to make it easier for me. And I would also be doing wet onto wet blends. Okay. And I think, let's see, this right here. So I'm assuming this must be the stand. Not the stand, the deer. I forgot the name, the leg of the chair. Oh my goodness, how embarrassing. All right, so let's come back here and just darken up some things, because in this case, white spaces are not my friend. Okay, so just gently glide my brush there at the bottom. And when I do this, another trick to keep the color from flowing, because once you touch this area with a damp brush, the color's going to want to run. It's just how it is. That's what it does. So I like to flip my page upside down and just gently push that color back with a lightly damp brush. Just like that. And working upside down, drawing upside down, I highly recommend. If you've never tried it, I know it might sound silly at first, but you really do get a different perspective. And also having things at an angle helps tremendously with that, because as you can see, it wants to run. And you can always use a paper towel to blot it up as well. Let's go ahead and just bring some of that color back in here with the small brush. Right here. And again, this is the first layer of paint. And it's looking pretty good so far. You have to really just go with it and not doubt yourself. See the whole process through. I'm going to go ahead and add a darker shade of, thinking a little bit of this gorgeous blue color here for the pillows. I'm a big fan of dark colors, and yes, I'm going to continue working upside down until this area just kind of lightens up a bit here. And as you can see, it's just blending out just nicely, perfectly, just nicely. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's go ahead and begin here with dark to light. This is where having a secondary brush is very beneficial. This is the number 6 Neptune brush. This gorgeous dark blue color here, it is blue, is actually a handmade watercolor. It's called Rierkertz Blue, and it is from Mrs. Hand Painted. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous color with just some beautiful neutral undertones, excuse me, and it is very favored in my palette. Okay, so I'm going to bring in some of that color up in between the leaves. Even if I color a bit of it, or even a little bit of this color. I have a hard time describing what I'm doing. I apologize. I feel like I'm rambling. I hope you guys can understand. Even if a little bit of this color gets into my leaves, I'm not worried whatsoever. As a matter of fact, this area right here belongs to the chair. So I'm just going to add a bit of color there. Then gently blend it out. Not worrying about it too much right now because, again, this is the first layer of color. Very rarely do I not add additional layers of color. Very rarely. I know it looks like a lot, very, very similar, you know, to the initial color, but it isn't. It'll dry back this gorgeous blue color. It's so pretty. So, so pretty. So I want the top area here to be a bit lighter because, I don't know, light source, I'm assuming it will be just right here in the middle. So those folds and creases that you see, use them to your advantage. And that's where you'd want to place your darker colors. All right, a little bit of color got into here as well. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage and just finish up the pillow for you guys. Let's do something a little bit lighter, shall we? Moving into some blue agate, and that is from Kim LeBeau's Handmade Watercolors. Let's go ahead and add some of that right here. This is another opportunity for blending with 2 brushes. Just a really light color. And I want it to remain light because this pillow has some floral work to it. So I'm going to need to work on that. Okay. And using another brush too to blend things out helps you with keeping a good amount of consistent paint and water in the first brush so you can target those larger areas. Able to clean things up there a bit. Have just the tiniest bit of color coming out right here. So I'm going to help that by flipping the book over here on this side. We're kind of going all over the place here, guys. All right, and for this pillow, we can do a nice neutral color. You know what? Why don't we do a little bit of Spare Me a Salmon? That's also from Kim LeBeau's. It's just such a beautiful color. going to go ahead and use the dark to light here. Beautiful soft gradient and blend there. You'd want all this area back here to be the darkest. I'm assuming this is part of the pillow. It is now. Really, really nice. I love to add deeper color to the areas here where it's surrounded by just more objects, you know, more objects. Oh my goodness, trying to describe things, and I'm absolutely horrible at it. So there you go. That's what you get. Oh my gosh. So these really nice light soft pastel colors for the pillows, because we did some darker values, darker colors on the chairs. I'm able to move color around really nicely here. Just working with this Princeton number 6 brush, very damp. I'm actually thinking maybe we can add a little bit more right here. A little bit more pink never hurt anybody. Anywhere you see a curve, add a bit more color and just blend it out softly. You can always darken it again. See, this is the beginning of what will be a beautiful page. Beautiful page, actually. Actually, very, very excited now. See right here, I'm going to use this blend right here, or this crease, fold, whatever, and work it out just like that. So everything else will just pop into place. Really nice. Love that agate blue in the background. Very pretty. And you know, looks like I have another one right here that I'll do as well. All right, so that concludes my demonstration. I'm really, really happy. You know, really quickly. Okay. This darker color right here. I'm going to go ahead and just show you how I darken up an area really quickly, just so you guys can see. All right, so I'm going to come over here from this corner. I have more of that concentrated color. And this is how you're able to get multiple darker values with just one color. People might think, oh, how many colors did you use? You know, nope, just used one color and just gradually just worked and gradually darkened it up. Just push it back into the corner. Cleans up really nicely, and you begin to just see the possibilities. This is where I begin to get excited. How about right here? That's going to naturally be darker because it's just like tucked in there. Look at that. Just a little bit. You don't need too much. And maybe there's a little bit more up here too, because once I start, I cannot stop. this brush from Silver Black Velvet. The Silver Black Velvets, excuse me, from Silver Brush Limited are really wonderful. They lie at an angle, they paint at an angle, and they're just absolutely great. And you can see that the Princeton Neptune, with its perfectly round, soft point, I'm going in these tiny nooks and crannies here, just gently blending things out, moving things outwards. And you can see everything is just beginning to come together nicely. The possibilities are beginning to pop out, and I really like it. All right, so there we go, you know, with my with my semi-quick demonstration here. This area right here is the darkest. Yep, and this part right here is also part of the chair, so I have to work on that and then come from over here, working on this cushion. Just lightly go back and forth. You activate, excuse me, the color underneath, and you can push that back as well. And it just begins to come to life. Love the way this is coming out so far. And I still have so much more to go. Just cleaning this area up right here. What I love about this paper, that obviously it's not watercolor paper, but it's definitely watercolor friendly. I love how I can clean up a hard edge and just continue to blend out. Excuse me. And the hard line underneath will just disappear. There you go. I'm just kind of puffing it out, so this area right here in the middle will remain the lightest. And I'm pretty happy so far. Alrighty. I hope you guys enjoyed that demonstration, and I look forward to sharing with you guys some more work in progress videos. Today's agenda, while my grandmother naps, is finishing this up. So I cannot wait to share, hopefully, today, the finished piece on that, and then I'll continue to work on this. Alrighty, guys, if you're still watching, thank you very much. And, all right, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.